In today's lesson, we're going to go over the E7 and B7 chords and put them into chord progressions like the 8-bar blues and the 12-bar blues with the turnaround. All right, let's get started. All right, the first chord in today's lesson is the E7 chord. Now, just put down an E major, and all we're going to do is lift off the third finger, making the fourth string open. Okay, so let's go back to the E, and then lift off the third finger, and that'll create an E7 or an E dominant 7. Okay, now we're going to take the E7 chord and apply it to the 8-bar blues. Now the 8-bar blues is an 8-measure chord progression that's common in blues music. Now in this particular progression, we're going to start on the A7 chord, and I'd recommend using the second finger and third finger for the A7. So second finger is going to be on the second fret of the fourth string, and third finger is going to be on the second fret of the second string. Now we're going to have one bar of the A7, and then we drop the fingers down, add the first finger to the first fret of the second string, and that's your D7 chord. So that's going to be bar 2, and then we're going to go back to the A7 for bar 3. Bar 4 is going to be the E7. And then the 5th bar is going to be back to an A7. 6th bar is going to be a D7. 7th bar is an E7. And then the 8th bar, we're going to do a first ending. So we're going to go A7 for 2 beats, and then an E7 for 2 beats. And then we're going to go back to the very beginning and play it again. Then the second time through, we're going to go to the second ending, so we'll play an A7, 2 strums, and then a half note strum. Okay, so let's play that together. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the D7. Back to A7. Then we're going to go to the E7, A7, to a D7, and E7. And here's the first ending, A7 to an E7. And repeat, A7 to a D7. Back to A7, E7, and A7, and D7, E7. Now we're going to go to the second ending, so we have A7. All right, now let's play that same chord progression, but this time we're going to use the blues strum. So make sure you use swing eighths. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. All right, now the next chord for today's lesson is going to be the B7 or the B dominant 7. So we're going to use the second finger on the second fret of the fifth string, the first finger on the first fret of the fourth string, the third finger on the second fret of the third string, and the fourth finger on the second fret of the first string. Now you want to be careful that you don't have the sixth string ring out, so I'd recommend using the tip of the second finger to touch the sixth string, because you only want to have from the fifth string down ringing out. All right, now we're going to go back and forth between the E chord and the B7. So remember the E chord. To go to the B7, all we're going to do is drop the third finger down one string and bring the first finger up one string, and then add the pinky to the second fret of the first string. There's your B7. Okay, so try that a few times. So an E to a B7, back and forth. And when you're ready, we're going to play some quarter note strum patterns with this. Okay, so let's start on the E chord. We're going to do 4 strums, quarter note strums, and then we're going to go to a B7 with 4 quarter note strums. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go to the B7. Back to E major. And B7. All right, now we're going to go from an E7 to a B7. Okay, so remember the E7 chord is like the E major with the third finger taken off. All right, so with this one, to switch to the B7, all we're going to do is bring the first finger up one string, so the first fret of the fourth string now. Put the third finger down on the second fret of the third string and fourth finger on the second fret of the first string. There's your B7. So let's try that a few times, back and forth. So E7 to a B7, and back to E7 to a B7. All right, now we're going to take the E7 and B7 and do quarter note strums back and forth. Here we go, starting on an E7, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the B7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E7. 1, 2, 3, 4. To a B7. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to go from a B7 chord to an A7 chord. All right, so put down your B7. To go to an A7, all we're going to do is take the first finger and the pinky off, drop the second and third fingers down one string each, and there's your A7. All right, let's try that again. So go to a B7, take the first finger and pinky off, drop the fingers down, there's your A7. Okay, let's try quarter note strums from a B7 to an A7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. B7, 2, 3, 4 to the A7. 2, 3, 4. Back to B7. 2, 3, 4 to A7. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now in this final chord progression, we're going to be doing the 12-bar blues with a turnaround. Now a turnaround is a chord or a group of chords that takes us back to the beginning of a song so we can play it again. All right, so we're going to start on the E chord. We have 4 beats in the first measure for the E. Then we're going to go to the A7 for the second measure, E for the third measure, E7 for the fourth measure, A7 for the fifth and the sixth measure, E chord for the 7th measure and the 8th measure, and then we're going to go to the B7 for the 9th measure, A7 for the 10th measure, E for the 11th measure, and then the 12th measure, the 12th bar, is a B7, and that's going to be your turnaround. Repeat back to the beginning and do it again. to go to the second bar. All right, now play the 12-bar blues with the turnaround along with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the A7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the E. E7 to the A7. And E7 again. Back to E. And B7. A7 to an E. And B7. And repeat. E. And A7. And E. And A7. And another bar of A7. And E. E. All right, here comes your B7 to an A7. All right, now go to the second ending. E. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, very nice work today. So hop on over to the practice buddy. We'll go over the E7 chord, the B7 chord, and work out the 8-bar blues and the 12-bar blues with the turnaround. All right, have fun, and I will see you next time.